Hey, Ben, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Ben Wilt is our guest today. He is the Chief Digital Officer at Answers in Genesis, and they have just opened a really cool attraction, a Bible-themed attraction in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. They're going to open one soon in Branson, Missouri, we hope. Of course, Answers in Genesis is known for the Ark Encounter. Truthtraveler.com is the website. Ben, like I was telling you, act like I'm in an elevator. We have 20 floors to go. Give us a preview of what families will experience.
Sure, absolutely. The beginning stages of Truth Traveler as a concept started at the Ark Encounter. We actually have a proof of concept, if you will, there. Wes Bowen of an entity called Mindscape Creative approached us, and he wanted to do something with virtual reality. He had some rough ideas, and so we just put our heads together and we developed what is now known as Truth Traveler, and it's essentially a ride, a virtual reality ride that uses motion benches, haptics, wind, scent, as well as the virtual reality space, which is obviously very, very immersive. And then the narrative we developed is obviously faith-based. It's biblically based, and the intent is to solidify that the Bible is the ultimate authority and it's the history book of the universe. So we did that at the Ark Encounter, and it was an incredible success. Everybody loved it. And then we started thinking, well, this is something we could transplant. And we always wanted to do something in the Pigeon Forge and Branson markets, just given that it's a traction space. People love going there on their vacations. And so several years ago, we started looking around in Pigeon Forge, and then thereafter Branson for locations where we could transplant the Truth Traveler uh, experience. And so we're thankful we just opened the Pigeon Forge Truth Traveler experience, and in that experience, we it's more than just the ride. We have very robust pre-show elements. We have an animatronic. We have a faux elevator, makes you feel like you're going down. And all of it is basically queue line space, but we wanted to make it all intentional. We're taking a chapter out of Disney and Universal's book, if you will, and we've done this at a very high quality. We wanted to make sure that as you mentioned, Answers in Genesis developed the Ark Encounter as well as the Creation Museum, and I'm thankful I was able to be a part of both of those projects. And we were always very intentional about the quality of what we were doing, as well as the message. And so we've done that at Truth Traveler, and then obviously there's the virtual reality experience itself. And then in Pigeon Forge, we also have a planetarium, an add-on planetarium experience that continues the narrative. And then after that, we have a great gift shop, of course, and a food and beverage offering. So it's a great experience where families can spend a little over an hour, and it's safe for the family, but it's also incredibly fun. And it's developed for folks on vacation, but it definitely leaves an impression, and the impression is that the Bible is the history book of the universe, and we in the Truth Traveler experience we take people from the garden all the way through Christ's ascension, and so that's really exciting.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Pigeon Forge is next to Gatlinburg, which is next to
Right.
the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So if you live out west, you don't know anything about this, people in the eastern US, this is kind of a big place that people go every summer,
Yeah.
every especially in the fall, for just to see the mountains. And so it's a great place to have it. I like what the press release said. The press release called it a Disney level experience with a mission to share scripture. You said that it's from the garden to Christ, but which give us kind of a preview of which biblical scenes you or some of the biblical scenes that
Sure.
people will experience at this Truth Traveler attraction.
Yeah, the virtual reality experience is around 18 minutes. So we had quite the journey throughout the biblical history to go from the garden to Christ's life. But I think we were able to achieve it in a creative way. We were able to show obviously the Garden of Eden. We show the Tower of Babel. We show the Ark, and then we sort of fast forward through various other key points in the narrative, and then we land on Christ's life. We begin at Christ's birth, and then we work our way through his ministry on earth, and then obviously the death, burial, and resurrection.
Fi-
And so we were very intentional about that. We wanted to land on Christ's life, and that was important to us.
5D. What does 5D mean?
5D just means that we're hitting all the senses. You know, we've got, obviously you got the visual sense with the virtual reality. We've got scent, we've got audio, we've got motion, wind, the seats move. So you know, it's incredibly immersive. The good thing though is we've designed it with all age ranges in mind. So everyone can enjoy this. It's not too over the top in terms of a thrill ride, but it's got enough there for the folks who want a little bit of thrill.
And a planetarium. And
And a planetarium.
I love planetariums. What would I visit? What would I experience if I came to the planetarium?
Yeah, so the planetarium, it's a version of something that we developed for the Creation Museum. It's called the Created Cosmos. And it basically just takes you through the cosmos, if you will. And at the end of it, you just feel the enormous the enormous nature of what God's created just beyond Earth, and the fact that we are at the center of all of that as his favorite creation. And it's really exciting. We actually custom developed that as well, so that it leaned into the Truth Traveler IP. So certain characters show up in the planetarium experience as well. And again, you know, planetariums are also quite immersive, but it's a slightly different experience, obviously. And folks are really enjoying both of the experiences at the attraction.
Before I let you go, what has been your role? I know what your title is, but what do you do at the Ark with the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum? And I asked that because I visited both, and I've always been impressed with the digital narrative as I walked through,
Yeah.
especially the Ark Encounter. That's the one I visited recently. And there's videos everywhere. Is that part of
Hmm.
your is that part of your doing?
It is. I'm the chief digital officer. I've been with the ministry for around 25 years. So I was privileged to be a part really early on, but even before the Museum existed. And then obviously I was involved with the Ark Encounter. There's a host of people at the ministry that are incredibly talented. And I just feel privileged to be a part of that. Within my role, I've been involved with pretty much all things digital video development, as well as audio visual throughout the attractions, both attractions. And like I said, there's just this whole array of really incredibly talented folks who work on not only the aesthetic design, but also the content. And then my team is also um, in charge of Answers TV, which we have a streaming platform. So we develop custom content for that. So I have a team that works on that, as well as custom content for the attractions themselves.
I am familiar with Answers TV, so that's really cool that
That's
you're
good.
involved in that. Final question for you: what do you hope visitors experience when they come to Pigeon Forge and they check out Truth Traveler?
You know, we want to leave a lasting impression, you know, in terms of the message. That's the most important part, obviously, the biblical authority message. And we want people to walk away with that, but we also want them to have a good time. You know, they're on vacation. And so we've made this fun, but it's also intentional about the message that we're conveying. And we think that it'll have a huge impact. We're really, really excited about being open now. And then obviously, uh, Branson coming along soon. Branson's slightly different. It doesn't have a planetarium, it has an immersive theater attached to it. So we're doing projection mapping in there. And there's a custom show that we're working on there that's focused on the life of Christ. So both experiences, we think, will leave a lasting impression about biblical authority and the importance of that in our lives.
Truthtraveler.com, I believe, is the website, if I remember that
That's
correctly.
correct. That's
Ben,
correct.
Ben, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.